beautiful alchemists. Welcome back here to Elina's Alchemy. For those new here, this is Elina. I'm an intuitive, I'm an angel channel, and I'm a healer. I'm also a creative, a musician, all that stuff. You guys, it's an extremely hot day. I'm melting. If I look juiced out, that's because I am. I'm in Germany. We are having a heat wave right now, and I don't fare well with high temperatures at all, even though I'm a southern girl. There's a reason that I moved from the south to the north. So bear with me if my brain is lagging every now and then, but I still wanted to come on here and do this wonderful topic today. 10 and a few more tips to make your home a more magical place. And whether you're watching this on YouTube, on my channel, or whether you are listening to this on the podcast, for those who don't know, is available on all podcast platforms, from Spotify and iTunes to whatever, and you can find it also at anchor.com. So you guys, wherever you're watching or listening to this from, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to talk about this topic. This is a topic near and dear to my heart because the home is the center in my view. And if my home is not in order, I find it hard to function in other areas of my life. And I find that with all these intuitive messages that Spirit has been coming through lately, stressing the importance of our home being this bubble of peace and harmony and being a nurturing and protective space for us, I thought it a nice idea to come on here and start sharing various of the many tools that have helped me along my journey and have made my life at home more beautiful, more peaceful, more in harmony, and more helping me also focus to the overall vision that I see for myself. And you can do the same in all the ways that for you and the vision that you see for yourself. So number one, I have to start with placement. Placement in regards to where goes what. And specifically, this has helped me a lot with decoration and designating areas. For example, in all of the apartments, all of the houses that I was responsible for the decoration, I have used Feng Shui, the ancient modality of space beautification, but not just beautification. It's literally a modality that helps create a sacred space for your home. And there's different varieties of Feng Shui. I like to work with the traditional Feng Shui and not with the Western. The Western type of Feng Shui designates the spaces differently. And so I feel that I resonate most with the traditional way of designating areas. So Feng Shui, what does it do? Literally, it cuts the house, your space, into 8 equally big spaces. And each space is designated as ruling a specific area within your life. And with each of these directions and areas and spaces and designated areas, you have a designated element that governs each of these 8 slices. And you have also a direction of the horizon and area of life, as I mentioned. And so starting, for example, very briefly now, because this is a whole system, and personally I've been studying this for multiple years, but very briefly I'm going to give this to you here so that it hopefully inspires you to, if you want, you can do further research, but just so you have something to start right away, just where you look around and you're like, okay, what could I right away shift around and sense, a shift in the energy. So north, the direction of north is the first one. It is governed by the element of the water, and it rules the career and our professional relationships, our purpose also that comes through our work and our career success, okay? So with the water element there in the north direction for the career, we use water colors such as blue, the obvious one, but also black and white together. And also this is an area that blends well with metal, such as silver. So cold stuff over there. And of course, for every area, you can put objects, you can put an actual, for example, in the north area, you can put an actual fountain, or you can have, let's say, water in depictions, let's say in art, in paintings. I personally, in this apartment where I am in, my kitchen falls in the north area. And so I have a black kitchen. I opted for a black kitchen. Actually, my kitchen, like lots of the things in my apartment are DIY. So I literally just got a freaking old kitchen from eBay where people were literally just throwing it out of their home because they were replacing it with a brand new one. But I went there and I looked at it and it was wonderful. It just was from the 50s, and so it looked outdated, but I just flipped it. I scratched everything, repainted it, replaced the the handles and everything, so turned it from a boring brown wood type of thing. I turned it into a black kitchen that looks very modern. It looks like I got it from IKEA or something like that. If I didn't have this option and I had a kitchen already installed in there, there's always, you can go and buy these stickers, these Folien, as we say in Germany. You go and you stick this color on top of the old thing, and then when you're gone from the apartment, you can always take it off. I did this in my previous apartment. So anyways, this is how I have handled, for example, the north area, which has fallen into the kitchen. It's not necessarily an ideal placement for my career. It would be great if I were a cook, but at the same time, I have found ways to display in the kitchen things such as herbs, things that have to do with healing. Like I have lots of beautiful things decorated and displayed in a manner that highlight what it is that I'm doing. I'm a healer. So I heal the body, I heal the soul, whether that be through energy healing, whether that being through working with herbs, whether that be through working with sound as a musician and a creative and a sound healer. And so you get the point. I have put there things that are displaying in some way my purpose, the career that I'm interested in, apart from putting the colors that go together with the north and the water area in Feng Shui. So after the north area, we are moving northeast, okay? Northeast is the knowledge and education, as well as spirituality and like spiritual cultivation area. Now this area, as I said, the direction is northeast, and the element is earth and fire. Mostly earth, but you can add a fire. Fire complements that, as fire nourishes earth, okay? So it's also very interesting how all of these areas and the elements in them are interacting with each other, either in ways that the one complements the other or in ways that they clash. So I'm gonna inform you about which elements go well together in which areas and when they clash. So here in the northeast, the area of spirituality and studies and knowledge and education, earth and fire are sitting well together. This is an area where you can put candles, but you can also put things that are like stones, stone wallpaper, sandy colors, nice rich textures, and throw pillows and stuff like that are in sandy and earthy tones, nude tones. And so in regards to what kind of stuff you want to be displaying, there is any type of books, any types of diplomas, anything that inspires you towards the cultivation of your spirit. A great area to place in the northeast is a meditation corner. I have very often there my nice little chair that I'm sitting, and sometimes I'm meditating and I journal. I do lots, now the new videos here that I do, the channelings, I do them at this area. And also you can put, let's say, little statues or little pictures of various spiritual guides, something that connects you to your spirituality. So that's your spiritual growth corner, okay? And you can also add yellows or purples, colors that are associated with the fire element as well. And you can keep crystals over there, earth element. You can keep glass elements. You can keep candles. As I said, a little altar is also wonderful to have it in that area as well. Then we're moving on to the east. The east area is associated with health and with the element of wood. Okay, so wood, lots of greens, lots of plants, okay? And you can put water element as well, because water feeds wood, okay? And so you can go ahead and place things there that are speaking of health, are speaking of peace, harmony. You can decorate fruit, you can put your healthy cooking books, you can put like any books that are about health, as long as they don't talk, let's say, too much about illnesses. Then moving on, we have the southeast area, which is the area of money, abundance, prosperity. Now this area also deals with wood, but I feel that over there you can add, apart from water that nourishes wood, you can also start layering a little bit with earth element as well, because right after we are having the south area, which is the fire element, and it is the area of fame. And there with the fire element, I find that if, for example, you have these areas falling in the same room, it's a little difficult to have, let's say, the one corner in greens and then the other corner in the same room, like with reds and stuff like that. So I like personally when the in-between areas of the Feng Shui Bagua map, as we call it, with these designated areas, I like when they are overlapping differently. You end up like in this room where I am in, we have 1, 2, 3, we have 3 areas. Can you imagine how tricolore it would be if I was just, not making sure that they overlap in a nice way? So you can, overlap with the in-between elements or elements that are complementing one another. So anyways, in the southeast area, which is the abundance area, you are going to put everything that speaks of wealth to you. You are going to put money or depictions of lush plants and things that are growing. If you have any plants that are dying, you better take them away from there, and quite frankly, take them away from any area in your home. Putting some details of gold is a nice thing in that area, but not too much, because gold is metal element and it clashes with the wood element of this area of the southeast, right? So just a little bit, some golden accents here and there to showcase wealth. And I like to also there decorate fruit and, what is wealth for you? For me, wealth is exactly like joy, and it's like having good food, good nutritious food in my fridge and all over my house, quite frankly. And just, grapes, mangoes, bananas, pineapples, like fruits that alone by seeing them, they have something lush, something exotic, something rich and wealthy about them. At least that's how it speaks to me. And so that can be different for you. Just make sure that it matches with the colors. The colors for wood, did I mention? I don't think so. I said the greens, but also wood is brown. And as I said, you can also complement this area with water, like putting a fountain, but still you don't want too much because then the water could be literally like flushing your money away. So you get the point. You want to be mixing just a little bit, just enough so that there is harmonic relationship between the elements. And if you are unsure, just stick to the element of each area. So in that case, that will be just wood. all right? So just plants and beautiful, rich, wealth inspiring in your mind objects. Whew, right after we are going into the hot, I'm telling you, it's so warm today. I can't even speak about this area because it's so warm. We're having this heat wave. The south is the Feng and Feng life area, and it is the fire element. Okay, so here we're going like from yellows, oranges to reds, obviously, and here we can also put some earth to overlap it, because earth supports not supports, but it goes okay with fire. But even more than that, wood goes well with fire, because wood feeds fire. Okay, so in my bathroom, I'm having these types of energies, and I am, overlapping like sandy colors, but then a lot of greens, and then I have like lots of candles and like fire objects. Also here, depending, you guys, on where like your fame area is falling, you can display pictures, art, objects, anything, books, whatever, anything that is expressing fame, like something that you want to be famous at. I find personally that it's good that my fame area is in the bathroom. The way that I have framed it, I've made sure that my fame doesn't necessarily go down the drain, but that it is, my fame is to be, or at least that's how I want it, a lot around wellness, well-being, and so I have made my bathroom feel like a spa. And so something that, rejuvenates and nourishes the soul and the body, with like my salt baths and all of these things. And so that's what I want to be known as. Whether I do that here on this channel with my knowledge and with my messages, or whether I'm doing that with my music, I always want to be water for the soul of people. I want to help people be rested and rejuvenated. And so, that's why I don't find that it's a bad thing that my fame area falls in the bathroom. But also, if you see that in your case, areas that are important, such as fame or money or health, if they fall into bathrooms, because bathrooms generally are considered not great placements, but I don't believe in that. I think that if you make your bathroom a beautiful place and it's meaningful, and if you keep your drains down, like closed, for example, the seat of the toilet, keep it down, the drain of the bathtub, keep it down when you don't use it. Or for example, my mirrors in the bathroom, they have these windows and they close, so I close them for the night, because mirrors symbolize water, and so I don't want to have excess water element in the fame area, which is a fire area, okay, so that these elements don't clash too much. So I just use such cures, as we call them, and also Feng Shui crystals that I'm going to talk about more later in this video. Because they take the energy and they disperse it in different ways. And so you see, depending on whether you have specific areas falling in inopportunate areas, you can always use such cures, okay? Now the next area is the southwest, which is the love, marriage, intimate love relationships area. And it's not just intimate relationships, but it's also friendships, I would say, or like partnerships, relationships. It's 7th house in astrology type of thing, okay? Relationships, partnerships. So this is an earth and fire area. And you can use, again, like all sorts of warm colors and textures, put artwork that shows coupled people, or have things decorated in twos, in pairs. Don't have pictures of, let's say, lonely people. Don't have objects standing on their own. Make sure that there's a symmetry, that there's two of everything. I personally am very fortunate to have my bedroom in this area. So it's a good place for my bedroom. I hope it doesn't indicate that I'm sleeping in my relationships. No, I don't think so. But I think it's a nice thing to have your bedroom in an area that is designated for your intimate love relationships. Depending on where it falls in your house, you want to work, as I said, with warm colors, with pinks, but also here sandy, earthy tones, nudes. But don't dry it out completely. You can splash in there a little bit of, let's say, yellows or oranges or stuff like that to warm it up. Comfortable cushions, nice textures, enough space for both partners. Or if you are on your own, make sure that your bed is not, let's say, completely stuck on the one side of the wall. If you are looking to invite a partnership into your life, make sure that you place it in such a way that there is equal space from both sides of the bed. And so that, symbolically, it's like there is space also for someone in my life, and they can come in and there will be adequate space for them too. Now, it could be that this area, like any other area, falls somewhere entirely else in your home and not necessarily in your bedroom, but I just had to mention it in case it is in your bedroom and you are single, but you want to have a partnership come into your life, okay? So wherever else it is, you just see how you adjust the beautiful colors and the beautiful energies of like harmonious relationships into another space, or through just colors. I personally, to be honest, I don't display too many pictures in my home. I work with colors and with objects. And even, let's say, with wallpapers, like I have a stone wallpaper, I work a lot with such kinds of things. Then we have the West area, which is the area of creativity. And here is the element of metal. Creativity and children also. So if you have like anything creative, you can be putting your artwork, you can be putting, let's say, of your children, their paintings or whatever. It depends. See where this place falls into your space. The colors here are cool colors such as gray, metallic stuff. The main element is metal. All right. Finally, we have the Northwest area, which is useful people and travels. And here it is, the element is metal again. And so we use pretty much the same colors as well, like grays, whites, or you can use other types of metal. There's gold. If you like gold, there's copper, if you like copper. And you know what? You could have, let's say, for example, a space that has like earthy tones, like more sandy, more nudes or whatever. And then you have, let's say, copper details or various metallic details. You don't have to have the whole space dressed in metallic stuff, because I personally find that, let's say, areas like the West and the Northwest that are the metal areas, I find it a little bit hard usually to, let's say, also overlap them, mix them nicely, have them being congruent also with the rest of the house. And so I always find that working with accents and very intentionally placing objects with intention of what this means and what that means, I find that this works 10 times better than necessarily just being like, so this room we're gonna paint gray. So this is all in all about placement, specifically with using the Feng Shui. This is in no way everything, but this is a good frame of reference to get you started. Let me know in the comments if you want me to elaborate more on Feng Shui, also to make videos about specific areas that you may have questions about, or specific rooms and the areas they fall in, or specific Feng Shui challenges you may have, and the various cures that you could be implementing to help with these areas. So my loves, the second tip the second thing that you can be using to making your home a more magical space is working with light, like learning to see, let's say, in your space, how does the light behave? First of all, where are your windows and how does the light fall into your space? What times the light falls where, what are the colors, does your apartment or home experience golden hour, or do you not have too many windows, and so you might have to see how you make the most of the whatever light it is that you have. Light is also energy, you guys, and so learning how to harness and see how we work with the best ways with light, whatever light is available, and enhance that in our space, it can do wonders. For example, right now we got really dark. But it's okay, I'm gonna keep going, because you guys, if I start opening my shades, it's gonna get super hot in here. Heat wave. Okay, so the light, all right? So seeing how the light behaves, how the light interacts with your space, and placing your furniture or your various like areas accordingly. Do you want that when you are sitting in your living room, you have light, because that helps you in the morning in your prayer? I know this helps me a lot. I need light spaces in order to pray. I know there's people that in order to meditate and to pray, they need to be, in dark areas. They might utilize, for example, like a closet. I can't. I need that there's light and as much sunshine as possible, so that I can see the sunshine even with my eyes closed, if that makes sense, okay? So I have indeed placed, let's say, my sitting area in a place that in the morning, especially in the early hours when I'm here and I'm not outside or in the studio working, but I'm here and I'm doing my prayer and my spiritual practice, the sun is cascading right where I'm sitting. And so before, the way I had my living room, that was not so much like that. I still had light coming in, but I felt that moving my space like that, it optimized my experience. And so same, that goes for you, seeing how light behaves in your space and being like, which hours am I actually most here, and what am I doing, and does the light matter? Next is using light fixtures, or using lamps, using shades to create a mystical or bright light experience, whatever it is that you want. Like, what is your space in nighttime, when nighttime falls? And even then, do you want to be having electrical lights? Like, what I'm doing very often is I leave no lights on in the night, and I just go around with candles. And, by, for example, bringing my living room a little closer, the space is smaller, and so a little candle is doing the whole job for me. And so, but that's because I want it like that. I want it nice and snuggly like that. Maybe you want a huge chandelier over there. So that's also something to consider. Lights, shades, fixtures, tall lights, table lights, what kind of lights. So these are all things that you can adjust and keep an eye on. And also, I have to say, with light, rainbow light, stay with me, rainbow light is very, 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 very nice, because the way I use rainbow light is I use it to connect to the archangel energy. The colors of the rainbows is like, for me, every color of the rainbow deals like with a specific archangel, and some archangels also come with the whole rays of the whole rainbow in their colors. I know Archangel Haniel and another angel that I'm not quite sure who that was. Might have been Jophiel, but I'm not so sure anymore. I'm sure in a dream I was visited by an angel that was coming like a whole rainbow. And so this energy for me is very important. Now, how can you create rainbow light into your home? Is, you guys, with these little Feng Shui crystals. Excuse, this one is a little dirty because I just pulled it out of the plant. It was sitting over there. So these crystals, you can find them on Amazon for very little money, and you can find them on Amazon also they come in whole kits. Like, you get like 7, 5, 10 of these. Some of them bigger, some of them smaller. So what these do is, you see, they are faceted. They have different, they have different facets, as you can see. And so they reflect the light. And so what you do is you pass this little string, this little cord that they come with, and you hang these from your windows. I have one on almost every window that matters, and you can program them. You can set intention, literally just focus on them and set intention to either repel energy that you don't want in your space or to attract energy that you want in your space. And I have to say, they are very protective and they are very strong in maintaining whatever programming you put on them. Feng Shui crystals, these are called. I'm not sure if they are something specific. Some of them are being marketed as Swarovski crystals. I don't think mine were Swarovski. I got like 5 of them and they costed like 7 euros. So I just think they're just faceted glass. So I really don't think they were Swarovski, and they don't need to be Swarovski. It's just this ability of the faceted glass to reflect the light in such a manner, and it catches. You will see, especially in the morning when the light falls on these crystals, it catches the light and it diffuses it in the space in multiple colors, and you see the colors of the rainbow. Therefore they are dispersed into your space. So this is something that I find also plays very, very nicely with the light that is available already in your space. Now, if you have a space that is dark, you have limited window access and stuff like that, you can use mirrors to amplify whatever light is coming in. So you can place strategically your mirrors to like deflect the light, diffuse it into the space, and immediately you have much more light without necessarily having to have electrical light, but you work with the natural light that already comes in. I'm going to talk more about mirrors next, because this is one also of the many ways that you can work to make your home a magical space. Number 3 is plants. You guys, plants are some of my most favorite friends to have at home, along with crystals. Crystals I'm going to talk about in a while also. You can have plants as like either real or fake, or depictions of plants and flowers, like in paintings and art. But I find that if you are able to have real plants, if there's the right light conditions and if you have the time to care for them, I find that they are great enhancers of energy and cleansers and purifiers of energy and air in your apartment, in your home. And they are protective, they are decorative, they are lush, they bring in this consciousness, this vibration, this frequency of abundance. And I personally even have I have some what are these, like Dracena marginata plants that I got them from IKEA for 99 cents because they were trying to get rid of them because they were all sick and underdeveloped and they were like crinkly like that. But I went and I got them, and I got them with so much love and with a certain protectiveness. I was like, no, don't throw these babies away. These are alive creatures. Plants are alive creatures. You can't just be selling them for a while and then just toss them away if people didn't buy them. Like, so many plants are dying in the whole, market. But anyway, that's a topic for another video. So I got them and I nursed them back to life. And you guys, 4 or 5 years later now, they are so big. And at some point when I moved here, I was wondering whether I have the space for them at all. So I considered giving them, like gifting them. And so I put them on eBay, and I felt this incredible energy emanating from them, where it was like, no, please don't give us, don't give us away. And so when I focused in my meditation, they wanted to stay. They had this sense of gratitude, but also they had this very protective energy towards me. And that was like, it almost makes me emotional to talk about this today, because it was like a full circle moment. Like back then I got them when they were little babies and they would be tossed away, and I nursed them into great, gorgeous, big, lush plants, and now they were the ones protecting me with their spiky leaves. Spiky plants, just so you know, have a very protective energy. They keep enemies at bay. They keep harsh energies. They're very protective. They keep things at bay. Having said that, though, you do not want to have spiky plants, let's say in your bedroom or in places where they are to be dedicated to relationships and harmony, because the spiky energy, it can cause frictions, they can cause, like, let's say, arguments and stuff like that. So in the back of your home, in the furthest back corner of your home, you can have them, or you can have them in front of your front door to, you know, repel negative influences. Just for those curious, I still have my Dracena marginatas, and they are thriving. They're beautiful, and I found also spaces to place them around my house. One of them I have in this window behind. I don't think you can see them now because I have like this ginger plant in between. Maybe you can, I can't see here, my display is too small, but I have it in this window there. Why? Because outside, this is a corner window, and you have from the street all sorts of cars coming over, and this is a lot of aggressive energy when you have like cars driving, like coming straight into your building. And this is also a lot of geopathic stress, as we call it, right? Like from all the movement on the street. And so these plants are excellent at repelling, keeping away the geopathic stress from such, you know, noisy environments. And I actually just keep this window always open and closed, and I have my plant there, and it is indeed like placing this protective layer in my space. So you can use your plants very intentionally. Sometimes what I have seen is that a plant might just get sick and die for no reason. Big, beautiful, thriving plant. And I have figured out afterwards that it literally took one for the team, as we say. It was protecting me because maybe I had set it there with the intention for protection. And so psychic attacks, evil eye, negative entities, whatever, anything that is directed towards you, sometimes our plants are taking this on them so that we don't. And so treat your plants with gratitude and with great care. I try my best to keep them on a schedule where I give them everything that they need. I hope I'm keeping them happy. Sometimes when I don't, they complain. They let me know about it with like crinkly leaves and stuff like that, and I try to rectify it as fast as possible. So I think that keeping plants, it also takes a little bit from you, that you develop a little bit of this connection with them, and not just having them in your space to make your space more beautiful and more light, but that, you know, they're your familiars. Have a connection with them, tend to them, listen to them, see what they need. Some of the most protective plants that I've ever had an experience with have been, yes, my Dracena marginatas, but also basil, you guys. Basil and sage. I've been growing basil, and apart from the fact that they repel mosquitoes and flies, well, apart from that big ass fly that is today in my apartment, I don't know how that creature got in, but other than that, we don't have fruit flies, we don't have mosquitoes and stuff like that. But basil is also promoting prosperity, also rosemary. So your herbs, if you can be growing them yourself, it's super easy. Literally just find seeds at your local supermarket or even from Amazon or whatever, and just, you know, toss them a little bit in some dirt, and they grow right away. Just make sure when you put them in the soil that it's waxing moon phase so that they grow big and vibrant. Yucca plants are also super protective, these spiky ones. I have one that is recovering from some really shady stuff that were happening at some point. I knew that someone was directing something very particular towards me. That might sound weird to some, but I come from the South, and I know we have a person in the extended family that is a little bit disturbed, and they work with witchcraft and ill wish against people just because. And that was so interesting because I just saw, you know, this plant was just sick all of a sudden. And then when I focused into the energy and what was going on, I saw that there was energy directed. And so yucca plants are really fierce in the way they protect you, protect the space, protect the energy. Actually, personally, I have such a strong bond with my plants that when something is up, I know when something is not right. My plants let me know somehow. And so this is a beautiful relationship that you could be cultivating too with your plants, and it automatically helps make your home a more magical space. It brings in this magic of us communicating, being in communion with the natural world, with the plants that we choose to bring into our home, and also with the plants that choose to be with you. Because make no mistake, just like crystals, plants, if they don't want to be with you, they will not be with you. They will find ways to shape circumstances in such a manner that you will either have to give them away or they are going to die in your care. And so when plants are staying with you and are thriving with you, they are your friends. They want to be there. So respect them, treat them beautifully, give back for all of the things that they give to you and to your space. Now let's talk a little bit about decoration. Specifically, let's talk about pictures and books. So with pictures, as I said, I personally don't display too much unless it's something symbolic. It's things that I've made myself. I have lots of paintings, for example. Even this one over there that I have like on the head of my altar, this is also something that I've made myself. It's a painting with like some of my spirit animals as spirit guides. And so I am very intentional with what I put, the art. I don't just randomly get stuff from various poster shops, although that's also perfectly fine. Depends on what you want to be displaying in your space. I have, for example, in my entryway, I have painted archangel sigils. And so this is a great thing you can also do. You can display somewhere a sigil of angel, an archangel that you feel you're working closely with. Just make sure you're getting the right sigils, because there's a lot of people that are throwing random sigils out there in the internet, and you want to be sure that what you're putting up is really the thing that you are putting up. Something that I like to do that is a little weird, but I have started doing this lately, and I do it and I love it, is I have this big TV that I don't use for anything else, but every now and then, like, I will run YouTube videos, even with the sound off, if the sound is too much for me, but just so that I have the pictures like of beautiful landscapes, beautiful visions, beautiful things that I either feel like manifesting in my life. And you guys, pictures speak to our subconscious. It is a wonderful way to program ourselves and therefore to have us like manifest things into our reality. And so is it a place you want to travel to? Is it a specific type of thing that you want to have, a landscape, a place that you want to be at, or a circumstance? Then play these scenes around you. Like, let your TV play like with videos on YouTube. There's everything on YouTube nowadays. There's even like, let's say, soundscapes and stuff like that. I'm going to talk about sound in a moment, but pictures, very important. What kind of things you visually feed yourself, because this is also reverberating throughout your space, and it shifts significantly the frequency and the consciousness of your space. Also with books, the books that you display. I like displaying books, and some of my journals, even journals that I've had my greatest breakthroughs with, or various books that I feel like anytime I could just grab them and open them, and whatever I'm gonna find, it's going to be of benefit to me. Things like books that are reminding me of my power as the liberated creator, especially, and the power of the mind, or prayers and stuff like that. I'm currently in the process of writing a book with prayers myself, and so when this project is done and I have the book, I'm definitely gonna have it by my nightstand or on my coffee table, and I'm just gonna be I'm sure of that. And so, or you can have, you know, display your passions. Like I have constantly some of my tarot decks or whatever. Display your passions around you so that your home becomes a space that fuels you with inspiration. Now let's talk about crystals. Crystals, my love, is my favorite thing. You can program them and you can place them strategically and with intention. I personally have crystals pretty much everywhere. There's very few places in my house that don't have crystals. Some crystals, I do keep them tucked away because they do tend to interact a little bit more intensely with the environment and with the people, or if you have animals. And they tend to shift the field a little bit, or create vortexes even. And personally, I can get energetically a little bit overwhelmed by that. So some crystals, especially those that are largely affecting, let's say, the crown chakra, I might have them a little bit like in a designated area. But other than that, all the other crystals, I'm having them in my plants or in very strategic like places like the entryway. And in every room, I'm going to have like specific crystals that help with the area. Let's say, for example, in my bedroom, rose quartz, lepidolite, amethyst, selenite, blue lace agate, such things. Things that are promoting good sleep, but also self-love, but also love and peace and harmony, and also harmony among, let's say, people, like in a couple. The entryway, I find, is always a space that a nice combo is crystals that are purifying and protective, but also crystals that are transmuting energy and are uplifting the energy. So no matter who enters your space, not only their trash stays out, but also their own energy is lifted, so that whatever interactions you end up having with someone else in this space, it is from an elevated space, and it's not from, you know, all of the different, you know, burdens and curses and whatever mess and chaos a person could carry. Even though I have noticed, you guys, that if you are shielding your home in like with intention with crystals such as black obsidian, black tourmaline, selenite also, and carnelian in your front door, but also if you do other things such as creating witch's rope, as we call it, where you take rope and you are really creating a braid, and while you are doing the braid, you are praying on it, you're speaking intention on it for protection. Nobody come in here that doesn't have my highest and my best interest at heart. And coupled with your plants and all of these things, and your sigils, like a sigil art for if you display it there and stuff like that, and a lot of the other things that we're also still going to talk about in this video, you see that nobody who is shady ends up even walking your front door. You guys, this was so interesting. We had a person that was very intrusive, and I don't know how, but they were always finding like ways and excuses to literally show up on our front door. And that person was very creepy. When my partner was like not at home, I was always feeling very creeped out, and that was the weirdest thing ever. And so it was, even though I was setting boundaries, it was so weird. It's so weird to have someone like that showing up on your front door. And since I did a very specific ritual and I placed certain things there, the last time that they showed up, like over a year ago, they looked so held back and insecure, and literally as if the space was repelling them. I opened my door and they were walking backwards, and they were like, oh, it's okay, I didn't mean to disturb, I'm just gonna come another moment. And then they never came back ever again. If they wanted something from then and on, they would just leave a recorded message on my partner's phone. Yeah, and so it was like, oh, peace. No longer having to deal with that person. So with intrusive people or people who are shady or people who are coming into your home with, you know, evil eye or coming with curiosity to see what it is that you are doing so that they go and report it somewhere else. I've had to deal with such situations in the past when I was also myself a little bit not so, you know, strict with my boundaries. And so I've seen that surrounding myself in my home with such things like these crystals and intention setting and programming them like that and placing them strategically like that has also helped me being able, it's like the space helps you also come into your power. It helps, it trains your frequency, because this is how crystals work. Okay, they train us to shift our consciousness to a level where we can actually, let's say, have boundaries. And so placing crystals strategically and also like programming them, but also cleansing them, keeping them in balance so that they don't store too much dense energies and then they end up like diffusing it back into your space. So all of these things need to be checked. So do you see how your home and everything that you choose to put in it is actually an alive organism, an ecosystem? And it's not just you put something there and then you forget it. you know, it needs this cultivation of energy, and the more you go about cultivating this energy, the more this shield or this beautiful harmonious energy just expands, grows, thickens, becomes so strong because it becomes so impenetrable. And in the end, it's even able to influence the field around your space, okay, outwardly. And so, my loves, next on I want to talk about mirrors a little bit more. I mentioned mirrors earlier in regards to using mirrors to help you work with the light in the space. But I want to also say about the entryway, for example, placing mirrors in a way that repels specifically things that you want to repel. You can also speak intent and you can program also the mirror. Okay, and also mirrors, another way that you can use them. Mirrors are portals, you guys. They bring in energy. They can also suck energy and have it vanish. But so that's why you don't want to put, let's say, mirrors. I don't like putting mirrors opposite of my bed. I find that they zap my energy. I find also that the water element that is represented by mirrors is keeping me active in the night, and I can't sleep so easily. So in the bedroom, no mirrors in the bedroom. But mirrors definitely in the entryway. Like if your door is here, let's say you can have a mirror here, or you can have a mirror here, so that it invites in good chi energy from the entryway. It draws chi in, life force energy. And so you don't want a mirror to be looking into hallways, like you don't, or dark areas where it's like the energy, you're gonna sense this, you're gonna feel this, that this mirror doesn't feel right here. Always ask yourself, is this mirror going to be here a source of more light, or is there another intention that I'm putting this mirror here for? Or does this mirror feel like here in this placement it's actually rather going to be an entry point for darker energies, because the overall setting just doesn't match? It's too cut away, it's too, let's say, in a corner in a dark area that just doesn't light up when I put the mirror. And so all of these things. In my entryway, I personally have 4 mirrors. And that's a little bit too much, but I have it in purpose like that, because some of them are drawing in specific energy and some of them are confusing specific other energies, and some of them are repelling specific other energies. So intention and literally placing your hands over an object such as a mirror and speaking your will. This is intention setting. You're programming the mirror, okay? And so mirrors can also capture wonderful, great energy that you want to bring into your home. For example, you can leave the mirror outside in a beautiful landscape, in a prairie full of flowers, or by the sea. If you want to bring in this beautiful, refreshing energy of the sea, or you can have it mirroring the stars, the night sky, to draw in universal energies. And so the mirror is catching that energy and is holding it. And so when you bring the mirror into your home, the mirror is diffusing that energy into your space. Now, mirrors also, you can hang specific herbs above your mirrors. For example, I like to hang rosemary for prosperity and protection and cleansing, purification, along with like this basil and sage and stuff like that. Lavender for peace lily for good communication and romance and harmony and love. So whatever it is that you want, you can hang the herb that is associated with that energy on top of a mirror, and the mirror is literally just amplifying that energy. Mirrors generally amplify, okay? So whatever a mirror is seeing, it amplifies it. So make sure that you don't have, let's say, messy areas reflected by the mirror. It's so smart, and I notice it, so many restaurants are doing it nowadays, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. There's this culture of putting large mirrors like above of tables, like mirroring tables where the people are sitting and are eating and there's food. And or if you have a store, a shop, and you want clients coming in, you want to place a mirror, let's say there at the door where the client walking into your store is being mirrored, okay? Don't put mirrors right opposite of your door because it's pushing the chi right out, okay? So put it really like perpendicular, as we say, so that it's the door and it's the mirror. And so when someone is walking in, the mirror is amplifying that. Oh, clients walking in, that's good. And if you want, you can have exactly in your dining area, you can have a mirror that is mirroring you eating or with your friends, or in restaurants. That brings more wealth, the food and everything, but it also brings, let's say, more clients. And in your home, it can bring more friendships, more moments with your loved ones where you are sharing your sacred space in harmony and celebration. So I hope I didn't forget anything. And so with crystals, I forgot to say one thing. Crystals that are like towers, crystal towers, like a selenite tower or a tourmalinated quartz tower or stuff like that, or a Shanghai pyramid. The shape is of importance, okay? And so if you want, towers are great for, diffusing energy into the space, and pyramids are great for transmuting energy. They suck the dense energy from the lower area and diffuse it, transmute it back into your space. Keep that in mind. So next, I want to talk about candles. Candles are amazing because the fire, the purification energy of the fire is great for protection, but also for shielding and also for purification. If you can have an altar where you always have a candle burning, and of course, make sure that it's a candle. I like these types of candles where it is, what is this, glass or marble or whatever. And so when this thing ends up burning all the way down, it's just going to extinguish itself. It's not going to, let's say, melt in a way that spreads itself everywhere or that is dangerous so that it could catch fire if the wax gets melted and spilled all over and stuff like that. And so I like these candles that are in a glass jar or in a container that is fireproof. So candles for purification. And what I also like to do is when I come back home, I like to have a candle to also pass it around my aura, and I imagine any energies or any cords being burnt away, being cut away. And generally I find that the candle flame is the faster and easiest way to connect with angels or with spirit right away. Let's say you're doing something in your home and then right away you just want to connect, you need to speak with spirit because something is up, and you need to ask for confirmation or for support, or please can you help with that. Right away all you gotta do is just you turn to the flame, you know, and you speak, and through the flame you connect right away. You don't need that necessarily, but I find that for me, having a candle constantly burning on my altar, I find that it's just it has a different effect. The space feels lighter and more purified. And also something that I like to do is I can write on a piece of paper a little intention, either for the day or for something a little bit more long term. And I can put the paper and put the candle on top. And as the candle is burning, it is literally diffusing the energy of the petition right underneath it, okay? And so I find that this is a beautiful way to work intention long term. Like every day you burn this candle a little bit more, and every day this intention is infused into your space. And so I like to always have windows, like to air the space. And of course, exactly, if you have pets or if you have children, or if you have problems with your breathing or asthma or stuff like that, make sure that your candles are pure. For example, a lot of people are burning beeswax candles. These are very powerful. I have beeswax candles, but because of what it actually requires for these wax to be, collected, like they literally have to annoy the bees, and very often the bees die in the process, and I absolutely don't like that. So if I use these candles, I will only use them for rituals and prayers and petitions that are very, very important. So I don't kill those candles for silly tiny little things. Sunflower seed oil wax is an option that I have found that, at least until now in my research, it looks like it is more environmentally okay. And it is exactly as clean, as pure as possible, without all of the toxic things that come with regular candles. Right now, this one here that I have is a regular. This candle here costed €2.50. It's a joke of a price, and so I definitely don't think that this is a very high quality candle. But sometimes I like to have some of these around because we also don't want to break the bank. Next on, sound. You guys, bells, chimes, nature sounds, relaxing music, anything, whatever it is. As I mentioned earlier, on YouTube, there's an endless array of soundscapes. I'm actually creating a playlist with some of my favorite ones. I'm going to see to it that I add the link. It's incredible. Witch house ambience with kitchen sounds or with birds. You got it. A night in the swamp underneath the castle ambience. You got it. It's like a night here, a night in the Scottish castle while it's raining heavily outside. You got it. Just, coshy bells. You got it. So search and find whatever it is that you love, and have that infuse with sound your space. No joke, sound. You guys, no wonder I'm a sound healer myself. Sound is one of the ultimate ways to cleanse and purify and keep light and fresh your space. I have crystal singing bowls almost everywhere, spread throughout my home, and even as I'm walking through my home casually, I'm going to ring them, because, for example, singing bowls, even if you have like a little Tibetan singing bowl, they are creating vortexes of sound. Like the sound creates vortexes of energies that are literally able to suck in energy that is dense, and they are able also to bring through also new light energy, retoning your space really to a frequency that is beneficial, is cleansed, is pure. So bells and bowls and stuff like that, or tuning forks or Balinese bells, you know, these that go cling. And I always like to start with the loudest things. And then as I progress, going with like thinner, smaller sounds. This is generally a principle that we follow when we are working with space clearing with sound, okay? And by the way, talking about space clearing with sound, even if you don't have any of these tools like bowls and blah, 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 you clap. Seriously, you can go around and clap, okay, loud. You literally do that, and you will notice it. You start to break down the dense energy. And it's nice to, you know, open your windows after that to allow these energies to go out, new energy to come in. And moving on also to the next point, incense. You can use incense to keep your space uplifted, cleansed, clear, and also just really have a magical ambience in your home. You know, you can bring in incense or spices or whatever. I love sandalwood. I love lavender. I love rose for my space. And so I find that it creates a very magical ambience and atmosphere. You see, aroma, perfume, fragrance, it has its own frequency. You could also be working with essential oils, and it's great if you have a diffuser, but also using herbs down to really like clearing, cleansing, completely purifying your space, like white sage or angelica root or rosemary, sweet grass, for blessing your space afterwards. Okay, my loves, now I want to give you some general guidelines to wrap this very long already video. So airing your space often is imperative. You know, from technology to the various emissions from our furniture to textiles and fabrics, it's important to air your space, to allow these positive ions to go out and these negative ions to come in. Negative ions are found, for example, in nature, near a stream, by a waterfall, just in a park, you know, with the trees and the grass, or when it rains. When it rains, I love to open all of my windows and just let the negative ions from the rain and from, you know, also the smell of the soil after rain. This is all a fragrance and a frequency and an energy. Cleanse often, both normally, like keeping your space clean, and energetically, as I said, by using white sage and then using other incense such as sandalwood or whatever else you like to bless it and keep it uplifted. So I spoke about good boundaries with crystals, herbs, plants, also salt, using salt to do the perimeter of your home, or cracking a red brick, just a brick, cracking it, and the dust of it, putting it around the perimeter of your home. This is very protective. And also another one that is very powerful is white light protection rituals with selenite around the perimeter of your home. I actually have a selenite baby here. This is selenite wand. If you have a selenite wand, it's amazing. It's ideal to use it to imprint your intention. Just really stand in the middle of your home and imagine that you are doing a perimeter. Just turn around and look around and imagine that you are doing a perimeter around your space that really is enclosing your home in it, okay, with white light, with the selenite. And also you can imagine that this light is dispersing from the selenite. It is filling up also the inside of your home, cleansing and purifying and uplifting to the highest optimum timelines your space and everybody in it, in the highest good of all, always. And also the space inside, you can also visualize the violet flame, like this violet color, really purifying everything and leaving everything nice and shiny. So these are visualizations that they might sound very simplistic, but you guys, they are working miracles. And the more you do them, the more meaning and power you assign to them. And so the more beneficial and effective they are. And over time, you build a very strong shield. You know, with everything that is alternative, it's funny I say the word alternative because these things are not alternative. The Western ways are the alternative. These things actually were the only, in my view, the only true way of doing things. But nowadays somehow we call them alternative ways. No, these were the things that our ancestors were working with, and it worked every single time for them. I don't know how we took these things and named them alternative, and we took a weird logical just Western paradigm as the standard. So anyways, but what I'm just trying to say is that when you work with such alternative, for the sake of this video of being understood, alternative ways, you have to build this over time. It's not like, let's say, Western medicine where you take a pill and right away you have the symptoms gone. Here we are curing the root. We are shifting the energies from the inside. We're not just making symptoms disappear, okay? And so it is important that you repeat and that you build this up over time. All right? And then you see benefit. You need to maintain it. You need to keep it up. All right? It's a matter of ritual, of repetition, of consistency, and faith. It's a practice, and it's a way of life, and it's a lifestyle. It's not just something that I do every now and then because I don't have anything else to do. Even though I find that at the beginning, when I myself was not so, consistent with these things, still intention can work very powerfully. But I just felt called to say this, that if you want to see long-term and really, really strong results with all of these things, whatever you choose to incorporate into your space, yes, it is a path, it is a practice. And so you want to be consistent to have this effect build up and grow and thicken in a manner that it becomes impenetrable. Another thing that you can do with a selenite wand is you just lift it up and you call in from the universe pure, divine, positive energy, life force energy into your home. You call it first into the wand so you can visualize it, this bright golden or white light coming into your wand, and then it locks into the center of the crystal. And that's it. Your crystal is holding it. Selenite is not any random crystal. Selenite is literally liquid light. It's angel essence on earth. It is, look at that. The way it captures the light speaks volumes on what this crystal does. It's great for healing. It's great for directing light to aspects, areas, spaces that need upliftment and extra love. And finally, one of the most important things is setting intentions, specifically speaking to your home. Our homes are not inanimate, all right? We tend to think of our homes as inanimate objects. They're not. They are built literally from water and earth. Even the cement, the concrete, whatever they are built with, they come from the earth. It's soil, it's mixed up materials, it's water in there, it's molecules. Your walls are literally molecules that contain water. This is a live essence. The way you speak to your space, you program it. You're putting out an energy that your space is literally soaking in, and then is radiating back to you. And so I find that blessing our home is a great thing to do every day. Do you go out? Thank you, home. Be blessed. Do you come back in? Hi, home. Thank you. Home sweet home. I'm back. So nice that you are my home. I love you, home. I love this home. It's so beautiful. My home is so beautiful. Speak blessings over your home. and you will see your home starts coming to life. It's like homes that stay neglected, I don't want to say they die, but their essence, it shrinks and they feel like inanimate objects. And very often, I've had it that I went to places that felt like uninhabited, and then when I start speaking to the building, yes, to the space and everything, you start feeling the energy. It starts waking up. It's as if the house is like, oh, someone is talking to me. Like, can we communicate? Oh, that's nice. Contact. Hey. And very often, also, I come from the South. We have this tradition of, let's say, the gecko of the house, okay? Like lizards of the house, Mediterranean gecko lizards, okay? We have them as protectors of the house. If we saw a gecko lizard in the house, we would never hunt it out. It was sacred. We were like, oh, it's the good luck. It's the lucky charm of the house. And so it's represented the lucky spirit of the house. And so these traditions, these kinds of notions and folklore, they don't come from nothing. Everything, all of the lore and the myths and the legends, they all have their feet and their roots somewhere back into some truth, some true real event. And so, imagine that our planet is just millions of years old, and there had been in the past, when the olden people still lived, there had been creatures that we haven't come to know. Like, there's all this mythology where I come from about dragons and giants and stuff like that lived in caves. And so I just feel like, there's a little bit of truth in everything. And so with homes, I feel like indeed homes have a guardian spirit, or at least every home has a spirit. And I feel that when we start interacting with that in a respectful manner, and when we make our intention known that, hey, I'm here and I come in peace and I'm happy to see the essence of the home as a venerated being, bless it and, interact with it in a loving manner, I find that our homes become so supportive towards us. And it really feels like a shelter. It really feels like a warm hug. And I had spoken at some point on this channel about this. Something, I don't remember what it was about, but something had happened. I think it was with the war in Ukraine or something like that. But I was very troubled, and I was just, sitting on that window over there, actually. And I was just eating my fruit, and I was just thinking to myself, gee, the world is getting so crazy out there. And I don't know if I feel so safe right now. And literally, I felt the consciousness of the home, of the house, like a warm hug, like around me. And I felt suddenly so safe and so held. And I also felt this consciousness from the house. This is a super old house. It's from the 1800s. If you see the walls, they are super thick. That's just how they were constructing the buildings back then. They were sturdy. They could take, bombs and wars and military invasions and all sorts of stuff. And this house has seen, 2 world wars and stuff like that. So I've really felt that day, the consciousness of the house literally delivering the message of, I've done this before. Even if there was something sinister to come over here, let's say a war, clear, cancel, delete, or something. I've done this before. I know how to defend. I know how to stand my ground. And that was such a beautiful, that's one of the many ways that I have spotted interaction on the consciousness level between, me and my home. And this is not even a home that I have bought. I'm just renting here, okay? But still, that's to say that wherever we go, we can make places better than we found them. We can awaken them. We can awaken the soul, the spirit, the essence of of a space and leave it more uplifted and more in light than we found it. And that benefits us, it benefits the space, and it benefits also those who are to come after us. Finally, I have seen that one of the most beautiful things I could ever do, and you could too, is calling in an angel to take residence in the home, a peacekeeping guardian angel to be in the space and to keep the energy uplifted, to keep the space protected. And very often, with places that are as old as this one, you may also have earthbound spirits, you might have entities, nothing malicious necessarily, but just, little things that they need to move on. And just to allow the space to feel more hospitable to the living and not too much occupied by those who have passed on. Of course, always with respect for what has come before, but also with equal respect for, the present and for what still wants to come. AKA you or anyone else in the future. And so that's why I also mentioned earlier the candles are so cool, because for example, if you suspect that you have an entity or an earthbound in your space, which has been the case here for me at the beginning when I came, I had to do so much clearing. And candles are amazing because candles are portal ways. You create light for these entities to pass through, and that might creep some out, but it's nothing to be creeped up about. But there was one night that I came here in my living room, I saw this woman standing in the corner over there. She was dressed in black and she was holding a purse that she was making me know that there was some coins or some reward in there. And she looked very sad. And so I sat with her. I just sat on my couch and I just connected with her on a consciousness level. And she showed me literally that she had come here after she was given the news that her man and her son, they had both been lost in the First World War. And she had been appointed to come here to this building to receive reward for the service of the two men that she lost as a compensation for the deaths of the soldiers. And so that makes perfect sense because this house here has shifted so much through history. At first, it was a pub where the people from the local mining community, they would come and they would, have a beer and eat after their shifts were done. But after that, it was a military headquarters for the French, and all the way also into the First World War and stuff like that. It served as a military center, and so it seemed completely logical to me that yes, people would be sent here to these headquarters to, let's say, receive financial compensation for their people being lost in the war as they were fighting. And so she gave me this sensation, therefore, that this place here had been a place that stirred her, that it was part of a experience that was traumatizing for her, and that's why part of her soul memory had lingered here. And so I had a candle on, and I also put it in a space between me and her, and I said, I'm leaving this candle here. I'm gonna go and, I'm letting this light here for you to pass to the other side. I called in Archangel Michael. I called in the Third Order, which is also, the Third Order is a group of angels and archangels and spirit guides that are literally accompanying beings, souls that are still in the in-between, and they're a little confused and they haven't transitioned fully. And so you call in the Third Order to pick up anyone who has been left behind, and Archangel Michael. Through, you just pray, you just say it just like that, nothing fancy. And you see very often, therefore, that these beings are able to move on. And that's a very beautiful thing. And that's something that I feel that if we can do, it's a nice thing to do. Okay? But don't go into such things with fear. There's nothing to be scared about. I'm aware that not every home is going to have such entities or earthbound spirits, but at the same time, this is a planet with a long history, and so it's possible. So I'm just mentioning it for those who may feel that they are sharing their space with more than just themselves. All right, my loves. So generally, this is. I tried my best to really like put all of the information into a video so you guys have it compact and concentrated, and I hope that this resonated and gave insight and helps you. So thank you. Give me a thumbs up if you like this one. Share the video if you feel like someone else also needs to hear this, and subscribe if you haven't, and I hope to see you in another video here on Elina's Alchemy. For those listening on the podcast, also thank you so very much for having been here with me on one more episode on Elina's Alchemy. I'm looking so forward to being here with you again very, very soon. Have a good one. I love you all so very much. Be blessed. Goodbye for now.